Day I'm hustling, 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 hustling,
It's your
hustling,
boy
hustling,
Ski.
hustling, 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 hustling. Every
Welcome back to the Matrix. You're not just in the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger daily market news analysis. So what is up? What is up? How's everyone feeling out of 10 today? I'm super late today. My apologies, everyone. Trying to get my brother's room ready for him. My brother, he graduates. Shout out to my brother if you're watching. He graduates high school, so he's gonna come stay with me. And he's gonna it's gonna be the first employee here, so he's gonna help a lot with the channel. I'm gonna teach him the ropes, and he's gonna be doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff as well as helping with the sports channel as well. So getting him ready, but when he gets here, we're going to be able to get a lot more done. So really excited for that. All right, let's get into it, guys. I don't have a plan or a show for you today. We're just going to look at charts, and we're going to get straight into y'all's questions, comments, concerns. But we'll be back to the regularly scheduled program tomorrow. Richard says, can you put up short clips of receipts as we wait for you to arrive to the live, like a good French onion meatloaf, like a highlight reel? That might be a good idea. Like my intro little, instead of an astronaut hanging out in space, it could be it could just be a loop of my highlights, best moments. Maybe that might be something in the future. All right, let's get into it. Make sure you guys are spamming the like button, hit the share, so other people can spam that like button, hit the share. As of the time we're recording, it is May 14th. 2025. Bitcoin is sitting at 103,571 dollars. And this is kind of what we're seeing for Bitcoin right now. Are we in the chop phase? That we are in the chop phase. That's what you took the words right out of my mouth, brother. That's exactly what's happening. So in my opinion, this is accumulation. And what we see after Bitcoin gets into accumulation, it does this sort of staircase methodology sort of thing, right? So you break higher, you chop, you break higher, you chop. So that's what we're doing right now. I think best case scenario in the short term, as in best case, as in I'm an investor who's always constantly looking for opportunities. Best case scenario, short term, we might get back to 100K, but in all likelihood, you could classify that as it right there. So maybe 98K, 97K, 100K, whatever, potato. But any dips now and for the future are for buying, in my opinion. Ultimately, the next leg for Bitcoin still is going to be $118,000. Ethereum is kind of doing the same thing. I think that Ethereum, though, is about one sort of chop and break higher than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's already done about 3 of these, 1, 2, and 3, where Ethereum is 1, 2. So I think Ethereum still has a lot of room to grow, even just to the the 0.618, the Fibonacci, the golden pocket, as they call it. Jasmine target $1. No, my target for Jasmine never, not one time, has been $1. Never, ever, not one time has my target for Jasmine been $1. My target has always been 10, 11, 12 cents. That is my low, medium, high for Jasmine, which still lots of gains to be had here. But I think for the next leg, micro for Ethereum, it's gonna go to 3,300, and people think that that's crazy, but you know, we were talking about the same thing of like, you know, at 1,700, and now we're up 83%. So what will your target be with the total 3? Definitely look like a micro bottom. Let's see the total 3. Where is the total 3? So it's almost at the 618. The 618 takes you to 947 to catch up to a Bitcoin. We're talking 1.1 trillion, but in the sort of macro, minimum is going to be 1.4 trillion. Medium case is 2, and bull case is 3.3 trillion. So that's my low, medium, high for the total 3. XLM. My target for XLM is $1 and $2. Could you check out the chart Peanut and share your thoughts? My grandma asked if the bull run is over, Ski. It's not over. Next leg for Dot. We'll take a look at Dot. Let's look at Peanut. Ain't nothing but a peanut. Lightweight. Woo! Yep, buddy. Yep. ICP is still the same. 35, 100, 140, low, medium, high. Whoops. Yeah, buddy. Hey, I'm not going to lie to you. This is accumulation. This is accumulation here. This looks really good to me. So this is a Wyckoff accumulation, sign of strength. You might get a back test back to 26 cents. Retracement is $1.40. Parabolic is $5.55. But I would say that this is a pretty decent sign. Like when you see this, that's the sign of strength. That marks firmly the bottom's in. As in over here, not as in today. You know, if you were to get a back test, you could come all the way back to, you know, 43% to the downside. Yeah, buddy. All right, let's look at Dot. Dot looks really good too. Especially in the micro. This is your selling climax, your secondary test, your spring. To me, this is the micro sign of strength here. And it's already been working on that in the macro too. And it has that same higher low structure. Man, Dot looks really good. Uh, 67% to the upside is the next leg. As high as the 3.5x. That's the micro legs. Hey, Ski, what do you expect for the summer? I have no expectations, and I'm still let down. We'll see. We'll see what the market does. My question is, like, how hot are we getting there? You know what I mean? Like, that's the big thing. The next leg for Bitcoin is $118,000. The question is, how do we get there? How do we arrive at the party? Do we arrive in our Toyota Camry? Are we just cruising along? Nobody's drinking and driving? Or do we arrive in a stolen police car? Is it red hot? Is there heat on us? Or are we cruising there? Right? So what does that actually look like in practicality? Okay, does Bitcoin go straight to 118 next week? That's what I would say, like, we arrived at the party in a stolen police car, and we're coming back. We're going back to the station, okay? Are we cruising in a Toyota Camry? Nobody's drinking and driving. Are we just kind of staircasing our way higher like we are right now? I would say we can hang out at the party. So to answer your question, what do I expect for summer? I need to know, I need to see, how are we arriving at this party? The party's coming. We all know we're going to the party. Is Leroy Jenkins driving? Who's driving? Who's the DD? Did we call an Uber? How are we arriving at this party? That's the big question. Okay? So what does it look like to arrive at the party in a stolen police car? It looks like we're going straight to 118 like this. Well, you know what that means? That means we're coming back. We're coming back to the station. If we just kind of chop our way up, that's a different thing. That's like calling an Uber. That's like your buddy's a DD. He don't drink no more, and he's driving his Toyota Camry. Okay? So the answer to your question is, how do I expect summer? I need to see how we arrive at the party. The party's here. The party's coming. How are we getting there? Who's driving the bus? How's Dent looking? Dent's looking really good. In fact, I just went long on Dent today. Today. Ski, if people have cash, should they buy alts now or should they pay off loan that 8% interest rate? How much is the loan? Okay. What percentage of the debt to income? There's variables to this. There's levels to this. Is this $1,000 loan? Or is this loan like crippling to the point of like, hey, man, if one bad season happens at work, I'm not going to be able to pay this. Am I just skating by with this loan? I would say to pay off the loan. If the loan is fine, it ain't nothing but a peanut. Yeah, buddy! Boo! Then go into alts. So it's going to be, case by case, person by person. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all for that. Paul Walker is driving on my mama, Ski. We're cooked. We're literally cooked in flames. What up, Ski? How was your day? Freaking-tastic, bro. It's how do you have a bad day if you wake up on the right side of the dirt? If you wake up on the right side of the dirt, how do you have a bad day? What? How'd you have a bad day, bro? You're alive. You are on the correct side of dirt. Every day is a good day. When rooftop party? When Sonic gets to a doll hair. We'll have a Nashville rooftop party. Beautiful, I agree. Glad to hear. Stay blessed. Polygon chart. Ski goes live. Market turns around on a dime. Listen, me and Satoshi, we had a little chat. Little chit chat. All right. So, what this looks like to me, perhaps, is the spring. Or there's inflation. One or the other. I don't know the answer to the question. Why are these different? All right, so FDV is 2.59. Okay, it looks fine to me then. This looks like the macro spring. That's what I would say. Your selling climax. That's what I would say. Where is this one? So I got micro and macro pools. Micro is $1 for retracement. Parabolic is $3.60. Macro is $1.80. and $7 to $9. I say get the biggest loan you can. Buy VeChain, ADA, ICP, Flux, Solnic. Those are all solid. I want to buy a really good leaf blower and a new roof for my house and reinvest the rest. I blow it like I stole it. Dang, bro. Pause. We're at the final stage of alt season. Which alt is at a deep discount to go all in? A lot. I mean, honestly, Webb's. I agree with Webb's portfolio. VeChain, ADA, ICP, Flux, Solnic. Blow it like I stole it. Big pause. Big bro. Triple pause.
I'm about to bust.
Are you still bullish? I am still bullish in the medium macro. There is definitely going to be pullbacks along the way. For sure. Salamonica is here. Jamie. Hey. Thought on the next month or so in alts. We've been talking about this, Jamie. We've been talking about this the whole live stream. Okay. Here is the answer to the test. The party is here. Okay. We know there is a party. What is this party? The party is called alt season. All right. There's a party happening later tonight. The party starts at 10 o'clock. We might be fashionably late. Who knows? But there's a party tonight. Okay, the party's called alt season. And the question of like, how is this party going to go is, how do we arrive at this party? Who's getting us there? Did we call an Uber or did we steal a police car? If we stole a police car, it's going to be wild. And then we're going to come back to the police station. If we call an Uber and we're responsible, it might be a long, nice, fun party. So what does that actually look like on the charts? Okay. $118,000 is the party. That's the party. That's the next thing. When Bitcoin goes to $118,000, that's the party. The question is, did we steal a police car to get there and went straight up? If that's the case, we're coming back to the police station. Or did we call an Uber? I don't know the answer. The Uber will be, less stories will be told about the Uber, okay? Less stories are going to be told about that Uber. But we're going to be like, man, remember that one time Jamie stole a cop car and showed up? Like, it's going to be, we're going to remember it forever. But, you know, it might end badly. Manat, thank you for the goat, you savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Where do you think we're at in the psychology? I think we're in disbelief. What is your 2025 exit strategy? On what coin? Some TikTokers say ICP is bad. Why? Because they like selling the bottom. That's why. Like, what were the TikTokers saying when Bitcoin was at 74K? They were saying investing right now is bad. Right? Why are TikTokers saying that it's bad? Because they like to sell the bottom. They were saying Bitcoin was bad at 74K. They were saying investing is bad. The bull market is bad at 74K. Or they were saying it was bad at 49K. They were saying economic recession at 49K. They were saying World War III at 25K. Bitcoin bad. They were saying bad. Silicon Valley Bank goes to zero. Bad for crypto. They like to sell the bottom. That's why. Jay Beezy says, I want to sell the ICP bottom right now and move on to something else. What percentage of your Bitcoin you selling at 118? Maybe 20%. Would you sell right now and wait for the dip? No, absolutely not. No, I do not. Listen, I am a professional technical analyst. And I do not think that I can beat the market on a super micro move like that. I do not. Bro, but alts are diminishing bad compared to Bitcoin? On what time scale? Why sell the bottom, Ski? I don't know why they do. They love selling the bottom and buying tops. That's what retail, aka TikTokers, do. What's your 2025 base and bull prediction for Solana? 420 blazing. Low case. 510 medium. 600 is my bull case. What's the best gains alt in your opinion? Ski. Solnik is my number one 100x play. It depends on what market cap you want, right? I think there's criteria. I think you got like your blue chip bag, you got your medium bag, you got your small bag, you got your high risk, high reward bag, you got your low risk, lower reward bag, right? There's different there's layers and levels to it. XRP to the moon. I think XRP goes to $5, $8, $12. Where's the top for Bitcoin in your opinion? My opinion, I've been saying this since 2022. 118 is my low case. 138 is my medium case. 207 is my bull case. I don't care what happens. Guess what? When we get to 207, it's going to be the most bullish thing you ever heard in your life. It's going to be the United States is buying 1 million Bitcoin at the top. I promise you, I'm letting you know right now, whatever the top is, it will be the most bullish thing you can imagine. You will be the most silliest, williest for selling. That's what's going to happen. Jasmine hitting 10 cents maybe. I agree. That's my target. Do you think 100K is still cheap to buy in? There's the saying, like, you get Bitcoin at the price you believe or you deserve. You get your Bitcoin at the price you deserve. Cheap relatively. Like, what are we talking about cheap? Are we talking about, like, is 100K cheap for next year? Maybe not. Is 100K cheap for 10 years? Yes. Absolutely. Is 100K cheap for 20 years? Absolutely, yes. Is 100K cheap for your kids and your grandkids? Yes, it is. Is 100K cheap for the next 6 months? I would say no. So I don't know what your time horizon is, but that's my answer. Do you think the 4-year cycle is over? It seems that way. What percentage will you sell at 138? 20%. 108, Denny. Link. My target for Link is $38 low case. $78 medium case. 178 is my bull case. Sandbox, any good? Sandbox has way too much inflation for me personally. Ski, honest question. Are you saying SPY and alt will move in opposite directions soon? History would say no. History would say they move together. Birds of a feather flock together, right? Who invests in the SPY? Who invests heavily into Bitcoin? I don't know, BlackRock? History would say no. I do think that there is a scenario where it happens that way, but I'm not predicting it. IOTA. 178. You hold any Doge? No. Algorand low, medium, high. 2, 4, 8. Take on Doge, Pepe, Shiba. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not like a meme investor. That's not what I do. However, all of them have the exact same chart. And objectively, all of them have a very good chart. All of them are, in my opinion, in Wyckoff accumulation. This is your bottoming structure. Your markdown accumulation, your sign of strength, backtest, move higher, backtest again. I've been talking about this for days. This is the same thing that Bitcoin did in 2013, which, by the way, Dogecoin is a fork of Bitcoin. Okay, this is the same setup that Bitcoin did in 2013. On the top is Dogecoin. All three of them have the same charts. Okay, that's the short answer. So, me analyzing Dogecoin, I'm analyzing all three of them. You got me? Are you with me? Okay, on the top is Dogecoin, but again, all three of them have the same chart. Shiba has the same chart. Pepe has the same chart. They're all the same. On the top is Dogecoin from 2021 through present day. On the bottom is Bitcoin from 2013 through 2017. This is the daily chart. This is the daily chart, meaning each and every candle is 1 day. So this is your markdown. This is your markdown. We call that a bear market. Accumulation. That's a bottom. Accumulation. Sign of strength marks firmly the bottom is in. Okay. We're going to control C that. Control V. Boom. There's your sign of strength right there. Right, yeah. Then you get your back test of the prior range. Back test of the prior range. Reaccumulate. Control C. Control V. Okay. That's your back test. And then your move higher of the sign of strength. Okay. Move higher than the sign of strength. Right here. Which for Doge was the full-on retracement. Then your back test again. Reaccumulation. Same. Okay, and then you start to gruel your way higher. Dogecoin looks like it might be moving now. Because this, not only is this macro accumulation, this is micro accumulation. Okay, markdown, selling climax, secondary test, spring, sign of strength. Micro accumulation within the macro. Okay, here's the end of the story for Bitcoin. There you go. It's still going. The skeety is skipping. It's still going. There you go. That's the end of the story. That's what we call in Wyckoff the markup. Now, of those three, if I had to pick one, which I don't hold any of those three, if I had to pick one, I would pick Dogecoin. And it's simple. It's very simple. Might be a stupid reason, but to me, my bandwidth, my brain power is everything. I only have so much of it. That's it. Okay? I only got so much bandwidth. That's it. And I don't want to spend a second looking at Dogecoin or Pepe and doing this stupid thing right here. I don't want to look at a project and not be able to know what the price is. I hate that. On any project. I don't want to look at a project and be like, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. I just want to look at it and know what it is. Is it up? Is it down? I don't want to spend any bandwidth on it at all. None. Zero. So I don't like projects with this silly amount of supply, which Pepe and Shiba does. But that's me personally. I'm telling you, they have the same chart. What one does, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? If Doge goes, guess what? Shiba's going to go too. If the 4-year cycle is over, what's next? Wow, would it work? How would it work? I don't know that it... Okay, I said that it's off. I don't know that it's off. It's just clearly different a little bit for the altcoins. We still saw a big move for Bitcoin. If it's going to break, in my opinion, it's going to break to the upside. 2029 is the big one. I think there's a reasonable possibility that we rock and roll all the way to 2029. I think that's a reasonable possibility. We'll see, though. When I see signs of distribution, I'm going to let y'all know. When my grandma starts asking me about Bitcoin, I'm going to let y'all know. When your grandma asks you about Bitcoin, you let me know. All right? Ski API 3 and FET. And then Uni. Okay, if I remember right, API 3 has a little bit of inflation, but I'm going to pull a micro fib off this. Retracement is $3.30. Parabolic is $12. My grandma has, bro. When, Jay? When was this? Gavsdad, thank you for the goat. You savage.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Kurdic says, you think bull market to 2029. That's not what I'm predicting. Okay. Okay, if you've never seen me before, let me show you what I do. Okay? You might view me as a predictor. That's not really what I am. I do predictions, I get it. But what I really do is I outline what is the most plausible scenario. What's the most probable? What's plausible and what's reasonable? What could happen reasonably? I'm not talking about meteors strike, dinosaurs invade, vampires. I'm not talking about nothing like that. I'm talking about reasonable probability of happening. Upside and downside. And then having a plan in place for that. That's what I do. 90% of the time. I outline reasonable scenarios, upside and downside, What's the best case scenario? What's worst case scenario? What's the most likely case? What's the most likely bear case? What's the most likely bull case? What's a plausible bull case? What's a plausible bear case? What is a reasonable in a crazy world? Not vampires invade and dinosaurs and all this crazy anxiety stuff, but what's reasonable that you could talk me into it, bull case and bear case. Okay, so that's the context of how I analyze things. And I have a plan in place. Generally, up, down, sideways, it doesn't matter. I have a plan. I have a plan. We're going to steal moon. Okay? So, what I know to be true is the stock market for the last 100 years has been on a 7-year cycle. I know that to be true. Okay? This isn't about necessarily what I believe to be true, but the people in charge of money believe this to be true, so therefore it is true. Okay? No, everyone knows who's in charge of money. All right? So, 1987 was the 7th year. That was Black Monday. It's called the Shemitah, the sabbatical year. That was Black Monday. 1994 was the Shemitah, the 7th year. You had the bond market crash. The next sabbatical year was 2001. .com bubble busted and 9/11 happened. 2008 was the following sabbatical year. You had the great financial crisis. 2015 was the following sabbatical year. The Chinese stock market crashed in 2015. 2022 was the following sabbatical year. We had a recession, the war in Israel, or the war in Ukraine, FTX went to zero, Luna went to zero. Okay? I know they changed the definition to what a recession is, but by every definition for the last 100 years until 2022, 2 consecutive GDP quarters at a loss, that is a recession. That's what we had in 2022. Whether you want to say we had one or not, I don't care. By economic definition, we had one. 2029 is the next one. Okay, so back to, and in my opinion, that's the big one. That's the AI actually takes people's jobs. That's the US dollar actually collapses. For real. I don't know. That's what I'm projecting. That seems reasonable to me based off of everything that's around us. I don't know what's going to happen though. But I'm outlining a scenario which has 100 years of data to back. I just gave you a few of them from 1987 till present day. How would that line up with Bitcoin? I think it's reasonable. I'm not predicting it, but I think it's reasonable to think that if Bitcoin is really going to break the 4-year cycle, it would do so not down to the upside and have the roaring 20s of 1920s, the roaring 20s. Guess what happened in 1929? So there you go. That is, there you go. I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying that's a reasonable plausibility to me. Hopefully that answered your question. Rose, I like Rose. Blast going to run. I like Blast, the ecosystem more than the investment. Do you have a group for people to join and trade with your signals? Yes, I do. I put out my trades. I trade almost every day. I put out my trades in the Telegram. Anytime I buy or sell, sometimes I'm wrong. I get things wrong, but I have a good track record over the course of time of making more money than I lose. Near target. Near target. I think near does a 5x from here. Solnic chart, please. Solnic is my number one 100x play, period. I think at a minimum, Solnic gets to 10 cents. My medium case scenario for Solnic is $1. My bull case scenario for Solnic is $5.89. If Solnic does not reach 7.5 cents by the end of the bull market, I will shave my beard. That is how confident I am in Solnic. Here is the entire chart. Nothing but higher lows and higher highs. Continuing to make higher lows. Higher low, higher low, higher low. Says now watch everyone start talking about the 7-year cycle in the stock market. I don't know, Mike. I was talking about it when it was happening in 2022. That's why when FTX went to zero, it did not shock me at the slightest. Literally, I promise you, I went live that day. I called it the Blood Moon live stream because I had been talking about the Blood Moon. I had been talking about the Blood Moon since like September. Since like July of 2022, I was talking about the Blood Moon, which was November of 2022, because I knew that typically on the sabbatical year, Q3, Q4, lunar eclipses were big. I was talking about it for 6 months, and then it was here, and FTX literally went to zero. I did not predict that FTX was going to zero, but I knew that somebody was going to get sacrificed. Video evidence. Documented. All that happened. For real. That's why I knew that FTX going to zero was the bottom. Once you get your sacrificial lamb, the bottom is in. V-Chain low case scenario, 20 cents. I want to make sure I get, Uni here. All right, let's look up Uni. I like Uni here. I think Uni has the same chart as Doge, same chart as V-Chain, same chart as 88. Very good looking chart. Super good looking chart. I don't know when Solnic stopped being self-reported on market cap. I don't know. You can look on Dex Tools. It's not self-reported. We can look into that, see what we can do about that. But it's not my top priority. There's lots of coins that have self-reported market caps. I'm not reporting monthly to CoinMarketCap, if that's what you're asking. They're pulling the data from Dex Tools, which that's just from Radium, which is a decentralized exchange. Yeah, I really like this chart here in the macro. Accumulation, sign of strength, back test, move higher, back test again. This is already starting the grueling up phase, in my opinion. Mossy Mom says, when do you think altcoin top, Q4 or the summer? I personally think Q4, but we'll see. If I see signs, you know, if we go there in a stolen cop car, right? If we go to the party in a stolen cop car, that means summer. That means we're going back to the station. Quickly, fastly, in a hurry. But if we grew up, I think that Q4. So a lot's going to be dependent upon how and when does Bitcoin get to $118,000? Do we get there with a lot of veracity and a lot of euphoria? Is it quick, fast, in a hurry? Or do we gruel our way there? Targets for Uni is a 3x for retracement. Parabolic is a 13x from here. All right, let's look up IOTA. Good idea to do shorts now, or do you wait for a bear market? If you're doing shorts, ARG, it's like you better be out today. You know what I mean? I don't trade like that. That's not how I trade. I will be in my trades for weeks at a time. So in my opinion, the trend is up. We're going to have back tests. We're going to have red days. We're going to have pullbacks. But in my opinion, it's going to be higher highs and higher lows. When you break trend and now we start in a downtrend, that in my opinion is when you want to short. IOTA looks pretty good. Retracement is $1.30. Parabolic is $6. What are your short long-term predictions on FET, LCX, and Crow? I know LCX is $1 to $2. Crow is 69 cents and $2. FET, I don't remember what my FET prediction is. I need some water though. Make sure you guys drop a follow, subscribe on YouTube. So once Bitcoin goes to 118, that's when alts will wake up. That's when it's going to start being crazy. And again, how do we get there? Or do we get there quickly, violently, or do we just cruise there? But generally, yes. But also, here's what I know, too. We're looking at Bitcoin and viewing it as in, you know, we were just at 74K. We were just there. I'm going to tell you right now, when Bitcoin makes a new daily all-time high of 110,000, the difference between, I'm going to tell you right now, the difference between 110 and 118 is going to be like that day. Okay. Will Sona get listed on bigger exchanges? Yes, there is no bigger exchange than Google. There is no platform in the world that has more users than Google. If you're asking me if I'm going to pay $75,000 and then pay $5,000 a month to get listed, no, I will not be doing that. If you're asking me if someone is going to reach a market cap where it doesn't matter and they list us for free, yes, that will be happening. The reason I have no interest in paying $75,000 and then paying $5,000 a month for market makers who trade against you and make me no money, make the community no money, make the exchanges money. The reason I have no interest in that is because on-chain is a real deal disruptor. On-chain is to taxi drivers as Uber. On-chain is to Blockbuster as to Netflix. Okay, that is a real deal disruptor, and they are going to have to find a different business model to operate, because this idea of them charging $75,000 and then $5,000 a month is not going to happen in the future. That is going to be dead very soon, and I can't wait for it. What market cap do you need to get listed? You start get listing in the $20 million market cap on some smaller ones, $50 million on some bigger ones. The magic number is $250 million market cap. That's where you can get listed anywhere for free. Right? Coinbase doesn't charge anyone to get listed. Where are altcoins and Wyckoff? The other chart, accumulation, sign of strength. The bottom is confirmed to be in. I don't mind Adam. Can you look at the Rose chart? I don't mind Rose either. I think Rose is going to perform well. Watch the video with Alvarez made on Solnic. It was a good video. All right, let's look at Rose. To me, this is your spring in Wyckoff. That's what this is. I think I already talked about this. Super macro analysis here, but that's what I am. I am the one who knocks. So you have your markdown over here in phase A. Then you have your selling climax. Textbook secondary test goes lower than the selling climax. And then the spring goes lower than the secondary test, which of course goes lower than the selling climax. Listen, the climax of selling is over here. That is the bottom. Even though the secondary test in phase B goes lower, the selling climax is just that. That's the climax of selling. The climax! Okay, the secondary test goes lower, but this is the real bottom over here. This is just liquidity. This is just supply and demand. We're testing to see, are we sure the bottom's in? And that's what the spring is as well. Okay? In my opinion, this is Rose. Rose has gotten the selling climax, the secondary test in phase B, which goes lower than the selling climax, and your spring goes lower too. In my opinion, Rose is in phase C of Wyckoff accumulation. The next phase is going to be, say, phase D, which is going to be the sign of strength, which should take Rose north of 24 cents. That's going to be insane. Even if we just pull a Fibonacci over here and do a retracement, a micro retracement, I think Rose reasonably in the next move gets you to 11 cents. XYO, 10 to 20 cents. Can you talk about some cryptos you like and why? I like all the cryptos that are in Wyckoff accumulation that have low to no inflation. Some coins that I like, blue chips, are ADA, VeChain, Link, I like XRP, but I don't think it's a great value if you're not in XRP. I have a huge position in XRP, but I'm not adding to it here. But these are the ones that I think are good value long-term, short-term. Also good value now if you're not in them. XRP, I think, is good value long-term and maybe even short-term, but I don't think it's good value if you're not in it right now. You know what I mean? Like if you've not already accumulated XRP, I don't think it's a great value here. If that makes sense. Those are blue chips that I like. Sonic is my number one 100x play. I like Flux as a medium cap. I like Dynex as a medium cap. I like XYO. I like ICP. Any chart that looks like that with low to no inflation, I'm here for it. I am here for it. Flux is good value. I think Flux has gotten its spring too. Flux to me has the same chart right here as Rose. I like ICP a lot. I don't have any thoughts on Caffeine AI. How in the world do they even artificially intelligent caffeine? Like, what's going on here? Just slap all the millennial buzzwords we can into one thing. What do millennials like? They like coffee. I know that. Okay. They like Starbucks for sure. Okay. They spend a lot of money at Okay. That's a good coin. Caffeine. And then what else? What else? Think. We can't just do caffeine. That just can't be our coin. AI. I don't like it. I would love to be face meltingly wrong, but like, what is that name? What about XTC? I think XTC is going to perform well. Are you saying Rose better position than ICP, VeChain, and XYO and Link? Rose to me has more upside potential. Not than all of those, But Rose to me is more a little bit more boom bust, where the other ones are Ashwagandha AI. Wakanda AI. What was the other one? Agreeable Gray AI. Paul, thank you for the Panther. HB, thanks for the goats. Oracle, thanks for the roses. Jody, thanks for the heart. Edward, thanks for the heart. Pat's World, thanks for the heart. Big D, thanks for the goats and the heart. Yes, Chipotle AI.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
What are those cups? Stanley AI. Listen, be wary of these buzzwords. Thank you for the tiny diny, bro.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Thoughts on Ondo? Ondo is car changing money. Car changing money. Sonic AI, yeah. Car changing money, right? If you have an idea, if you invest in Ondo $76 and you're going to be able to retire your entire lineage, you were wrong. That's not going to happen. If you think that if you invest into Ondo and you can 2-3x your money and upgrade from a Toyota Corolla to a Lexus, Toyota Camry to a Lexus, I think that that's the reasonable expectation, right? That's my thoughts on Ondo. Dynex potential. I think Dynex has really good potential. I think Dynex has finally started to bottom. Dynex is my actual real deal favorite AI coin. Dynex and Flux are my favorite AI coins. It's starting to round out here, and it has broken this downtrend. What coin can I retire my lineage? Not with $76. I don't know. Top 3 buys right now. Sonic, Flux. I'm going to do a macro. ICP. That's a micro, a medium, and a macro. My top value at each one. You could replace... I have like 20 coins that I like. Actually. You could replace ADA, Link, whatever. You could replace Flux with XYO. You could replace ADA with Rose. What do the gifts people send you on TikTok do for you? They make me feel good, Jody. And they make me feel appreciated. They make me feel gratitude. Toyota better than a Lexus. It's the same. It's the same engine. It's the same company, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's the same manufacturer. Thank you for the manifesting. The goat and the lightning, you savages.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Solnic coin, never heard of that. What's the ticker? It's SOLNIC. That is my top 100x value play. XTZ9 is the last 4 of the contract address. Lexus is Toyota Premium. Bro, that's all I'm trying to do, bro. I'm just trying to upgrade the Camry to a Lexus. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to this. There's phases and there's levels. One step at a time. Name YouTube, bro. Same handle everywhere at your boy Ski. YABOY, as in ya boy. Ski. SKEY. As in Gajewski is my last name. As in I'm Polish, but mine's SKEY instead of SKI. Does Litecoin? Yes, Litecoin does, Mr. Wednesday. And I'm selling everything. Okay, good. Your fave meme coin, high risk, high reward. I don't know if you count Solnic as a meme. It's not really a meme anymore. I have 3 that I feel comfortable putting my name on. Solnic, Fat Cat, and Hee Hee. Under a certain market cap, honestly, here's the alpha. Here. My God, spit it out, Sammy. Jesus. Here's the truth. Okay, when you're investing into a like super micro cap coin under $20 million market cap, you're betting on the horse, or you're betting on the jockey, not the horse. Okay, you're betting on the jockey, not the horse. So who's the leader? How does he show up, or she? How consistent is he or she? How hard does he or she work? And most importantly, when life hits you in the mouth, how do they respond? Because it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. It's not going to be straight up only. No red days, never. When life hits them in the mouth, what do? How do they respond? Do they show up harder? Or do they get shiny object syndrome and abandon ship and go do something else? If they go do something else and forget about the thing that they were on, that's a no-go. That's not a jockey that I believe in. They're telling you what they're going to do when it gets tough. If you see a jockey or a creator or a developer who rides it up, and then when it comes down, bye Felicia, and they start doing something else, they're telling you what they're going to do when it inevitably gets hard. So that's what you want to look for. You want to look for someone who isn't scared of a little bit of hard work, isn't scared of getting their nose bloody. That's what you want to look for. You're betting on the jockey, not the horse, under a certain market cap. Have they already been through a bear market and made a new high? That's ideal. I'm very cautious of coins that have never had a bear market, never pulled back 70%. I'm talking about anything, bro. I'm not just talking about, if you want to put Sage in there, sure. I'm talking about any developer, any creator. I don't care. I'm not talking about any coin. I'm talking about any developer, any creator who front runs a project. When it's awesome, he's high-fiving or she's high-fiving all around. But when it pulls back, it's no good and they go do something else. No, thank you. I don't want to invest into that. I have no interest in that. None. Ski will go into the trenches for Solnic. Bro, I'll go into the ringer. ICP range, I think reasonably 35 low, 100 medium. Richard Hart won the SEC case. What's your thoughts on his project? I think that's great. Solnic has not been through a bear market. Cap. All right. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a 4-year cycle bear market. You could classify as what we just... First of all, let me start here. Before we go any further, Let me show you what I've been saying for months now. What we just had was accumulation. Accumulation is the bear market. Okay, on the top is Bitcoin. This is distribution. So this is 2021, right? This is the same chart right here. This is the same chart. Okay, why is it the same chart? Because that's the same structure, because markets do the same thing. This is distribution. This is your markdown. This is accumulation. FTX went to 0. OM went to 0. Sign of strength, move higher. So that's one thing. Number 2, what I'm referring to is not a 4-year cycle. What I'm referring to is this right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. What I'm referring to, actually this was too. This was actually higher. You can't see it on this chart. This went to 6 million, came all the way back down, and then went higher. Okay, it's easy to front run. Easy to front run when you're going up. What do? All the way back down, reaccumulation. Reaccumulation. And higher again. Okay? Move higher again. Distribution, markdown, reaccumulation again. I would argue that Solnick has went through multiple bear markets, because that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about legs up, legs higher. If your creator or your developer or whatever you want to call them, your fearless leader, if they are all high fives around here and then they leave and never come back, once you come back here, it's done. It's dead, bro. That's not what this is. This is every single bottom has doubled from the last. Rose market cap 269, FTV of 400, Flux market cap 126, FTV of 120. Flux is better value. What do you think? Lambo is Audi. Which crypto would you buy on your list to get the most X's? Solnick. You can buy it on Radium, Jupiter, Phantom, Soulflare, Coinbase wallet, Crypto.com wallet. When will that happen? When will what happen? What are your thoughts on Ardrum Finance? Ardrum Finance, I put in the same category as Sui, Ondo, Ardrum. Those are all like the trinity of high inflationary new utility. It's car changing money. I think they've all bottomed. I think they're all going to perform decently well, but you have to have the right expectation. If you invest $73, you're not going to change too much. If you invest $7,000, you might be able to upgrade your Toyota, right? That's the expectation that you should have with all of those projects, in my opinion. I think they're real projects and they're really here to stay. But this idea that you're going to 1000x, 100x, even 10x on any of those, I think is not reasonable. I would love to be face meltingly wrong. I would love for that to happen, by the way. Do you think we'll get another big buying opportunity? We will absolutely always get another big buying opportunity. There will always be opportunities. 88 to 3. My targets for 88: $2, $4, $6, $8. He would say Solnick, just saying. Not saying it's a bad project, but remember, it's his target project. Let me know of a project that has outperformed Solnick upside or downside. Please, I would love to diversify my bag. Let me know of any project that has had the upside rewards and the downside protection that Solnick has had. Please let me know. I am unaware of any project in the market, period, that has outperformed upside and downside. Let me know of another project that's doing more fundamentally. Let me know of a project that is coming out with staking, that's coming out with liquidity mining, that is shooting a feature-length documentary, that every bottom has more than doubled from the last, that is creating their own stable coin. Let me know. I would love to invest. Targets for Flux. $5, $13. Let me know of another creator who works harder than me. I would love to invest. You let me know. Thoughts on Pepe? Pepe has the same chart as Doge, as Shiba. I think Pepe has bottomed and is working on the sign of strength. Let me know of another creator who's called as many bottoms as I have with video evidence. So if I put 14K into your value list since last October, I can get a good leaf blower. Absolutely. Thoughts on Cass? I think Cass is bottom too. I like Hee. Listen, there are 3 micro caps that I feel comfortable with long term and now. No, I'm serious, bro. I'm not being funny. I would love to diversify my portfolio. I want to catch more, you know. I want to catch more 100x gains that I don't have to work my face off for. If it exists, I want to know about it. DCA your price down, bro. ADA Rose, Sonic Dot, Phantom VT, AVAX to the moon. What do you think of Algorand? I put Algorand in the same category as HBAR. Super good technology, long term, has their hands in the right pie. I think it's here. It's a real player for real. There was past inflation, not so much now. So I think it's a good investment long term. Flux or Rose, what do you like better? I definitely like Flux fundamentally better, but I do like Rose. I mean, I like both of those. They're very similar in market cap. Flux has a little bit less inflation than Rose. Not that Rose's has a crazy amount. Also, I'm very biased towards Flux, just full transparency. I mined Flux heavily. So I read all their white papers. I did all my homework. I looked into the founding team and all of their, LinkedIns and all that stuff. I'm biased towards Flux a little bit, but to me, that's the real, if you look at their project, look at their white paper, read their roadmap, what they've actually done, what they're trying to do. I think it's a really, really good project. Kay said, there's a streamer that got the top in December, and he's saying it's over for now. What did he say in 2022? Dynex and Flux are my top AIs. Is that Flux protocol? Yes. You think once ETH flips 3,500, the ecosystem will run? I do think so, yes. The amount of liquidity that's going to come in, by the way, what that is going to mean for Bitcoin dominance is going to be crazy. Can you do price prediction on others? Others chart looks really good to me. 830 billion to 1 trillion, 1.1 trillion. What's the easiest 100x that's not a meme? Well, I mean, if you don't count Sonic as a meme, it's not. It's DeFi. Next move for VeChain, 20 cents. Solana 420, low 510 medium, 600 bull. All right, guys, that is going to be it for this time. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I promise you I won't be late tomorrow. I'm not going to be late tomorrow. Where did you buy that water bottle? I think I got it on Amazon. I won't be late tomorrow. All right. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Please be late. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.
Damn hustling, hustling.